a duck jumps off a waterfall, and then what happens is the duck is going. The music was when the duck hit the water, it went in the orchestra, and it was like the thing we worked on for like 20 minutes. I remember. Anyway, so.
The oldest orchestra in the United States.
Over 100 musicians on stage usually, and it's 4 instrument groups, strings and brass, winds and percussion. You'll hear music that was written several centuries ago, up to music that people are hearing in the hall for the very first time, which is really exciting.
Oh, I have a lot of favorite composers.
It's Brahms, which we're playing this week.
I'm gonna say Brahms today.
Schubert with me, as well as Schoenberg.
Different program every week. That's the coolest thing that we get to do here, is that effectively I know that every week I'm going to get to play something new, maybe something old and familiar, possibly.
What we would think of as standard classical music, and we have, the heavy hitters, but then we have some pieces that are off the beaten path. Well, none of that is necessarily being conveyed through words or acting on stage. We have this incredible sound world and all of these amazing sounds that maybe don't even sound like what you think of when you think of a symphony.
We'll have a smattering of rehearsals in the morning and then rehearsal in the afternoon, and then like today we have a rehearsal in the morning, nothing in the afternoon, and then a show in the evening. But typically it's usually a week-long prep process, and we usually get about 4 or 5 rehearsals per program, and sometimes fewer. If you ask this orchestra to play Mahler 5 tonight, we'd play Mahler 5 tonight because it's just in our blood. But if it's a modern piece, something we've never played before, we need to sit with it for a few more rehearsals.
Usually 3 to 4 concerts a week.
Sometimes we push it to 5.
1 week schedule would start on Tuesday with a morning rehearsal. Each service lasts about 2.5 hours. It may not sound like a lot of hours, but we actually individually have to practice a lot.
I try to be here about an hour before most rehearsals, just because that's the time when I can incorporate a lot of healthy warm-up time, a little practice time, just getting comfortable on the stage, because I am always nervous before shows. But I also believe in nerves being a healthy thing. I think that in my mindset, you can call them nerves, but if you're prepared, it's not nerves, it's excitement. And so I'd say I get excited for most shows.
We work with different conductors every week, so some conductors are more particular, so that can also make musicians nervous.
This piece by Gustav Mahler. Mahler is of course very important to the New York Phil because he actually was a conductor here a long time ago, and so whenever we play Mahler we sort of have this feeling of homecoming. Gustavo Dudamel, who will officially be joining us in 2026-27, it will be the first time that he has the opportunity to conduct the orchestra with the knowledge that he will be at his new home.
There are so many great musical memories.
Favorite show?
For a personal reason, I have to say it was last year's Lunar New Year Gala concert conducted by my husband.
Okay, so this was 2014 or 13-ish, and Bernard Haitink, he came and he did a 2-week stay here. We did Beethoven 3 and Mahler 3, and honestly, a pick of either show would be my favorite. It was amazing.
A program consists of 3 pieces. We think of a 3-course meal, we have an overture, and then we have a concerto which features a soloist, and then we have the main course, which is oftentimes the symphony at the end. Sometimes we do actually have cancellations. It doesn't happen very often, but even this season we had to replace one program. Here's the silver lining: we get to experience this fresh approach to one of the hardest pieces in the piano repertoire.
I've been playing music since I can remember.
So I started playing the flute when I was 9 years old. I was growing up in Korea.
We call it blind audition. Those are usually behind the screen, so we don't see the musicians' faces.
I say that everybody is a musical expert in their own right, and if you like a show, you like a show, and if you don't like a show, you don't like a show, and stop asking for somebody to tell you.
There's no right way to listen to the music. Any questions or doubts or dislikes or loves or anything, everything is acceptable, and even if the people next to you are saying, this is an incredible performance, and you don't necessarily think so. There's a place for everyone's opinions, and it's completely subjective, and I think that's part of the joy of coming to a New York Phil concert, is the ability to communicate with people around you who might have different experiences. Whether it's your first time in the hall, everyone's part of the process, which I think makes it really exciting.
I love that we're always going for better. That's the thing that is best about this.
To be able to go to rehearsals, be able to go to concerts, and hear their interpretation and understanding of life as it comes through their instrument, it makes life that much richer.